What's up, everybody? My name is Nick Kwach, actor, writer, and all nice things. Please, if you have not subscribed, hii channel, like, sijui unaona nini, cinema yako unaitolea wapi? Because if you have not subscribed to Alboa Cinema, this is where you will get everything. So subscribe. Ni wewe naongelesha. Subscribe.
So now, karibu to Alboa Cinema. Now, this is my political session. I drop videos like this every now and then. Now, I'd reacted to a video of Senator Richard Onyonka of Kisii County, my home county, really starting to speak about things these politicians don't really talk about the entire dire state of our country in terms of who runs things, the corruption. So there was a section of this video that's on Lynn Ngugi's channel. Lynn Ngugi mnamjua 1.05 million subscribers. I think she used to work for K24, one of these media houses. Shoka ikaanguka and she metamorphosized into something else. And now has even more respect and is doing, I think, better work than she would in those mainstream media platforms. So to skize, I'll be giving commentary. Of course, I think this is going to be a bit of a long video. But these important things are not short. Lazima tusikize ma details tuweze kuzichambua kidogo so that can have a better understanding, because unfortunately many of us don't have a good understanding about how bad things are and how dire out of our decisions are, especially when it comes to elections. So tusikize ndio tujue zaidi.
I mean, where the standard goes up.
Actually, they are worse.
They are worse. So the question I've been asking, where is this money going? And my conviction and belief is that because the structure is so broken, and I've been so lucky to sit, as I said, in the budget committee and also in the CPAC committee, which does the audits, it's when I started realizing that actually all the money, including what Uhuru said previously and other leaders, Ouko said it before in his audits, half of your budget is actually budgeted corruption. The 3.4 trillion shillings budget that we're having is actually half of it is money where individuals sit down, plan on what to do, including the leadership. I'm talking about members of parliament, the Senate. I'm talking about everybody. It is a systematic, deliberate arrangements on kickbacking, on rewarding, on who benefits. Because everybody in government and everybody who's in political leadership in this country believes that the biggest company we have is a country called Kenya.
Now, this is not new for most of us who have at least followed politics, not just locally but internationally. It is, for many people, these things, when you see the budgets ballooning, it is kind of intrinsically understood and accepted that corruption will gobble up most of this money. Now, we see it everywhere. The problem we have, and I think that is obvious to everyone, is that no matter how much they steal, how they mismanage, no matter how many people they kill, it doesn't matter. They will be voted back in by the same people who are criticizing them now. All right? And it's because most of the time, most of us think we know more than we do. And that's a dangerous frame of mind, because you're easily manipulated when you are like that. And that's why, for example, the current President Ruto, when he came in with the hustler narrative to get the youth on his side, it worked like magic, because the youth don't know this guy. Despite all the information being out there, they didn't bother to follow. A lot of people in my generation also who are extremely corrupt, who have destroyed many, many places that they work and whatnot, corruption killer pahali, they also pushed this narrative of hustler to try and basically deflect from the inadequacies. At the same time, hopefully this corrupt person that we know gets in so that we can continue eating. So it will not end because most of us are in it. We practice. That is Gen Z my Gen Y, ni Gen Y yetu, I don't know, those, my generation, the generation before us, basically corruption is part of our culture. And that's why we are so accepting of it, and that's why we intrinsically just vote for the people who are like that. Like I told you, me this last election, I didn't vote because neither of the candidates met the minimum threshold for me to consider them a good leader, because I'd seen their track record. How can I know somebody is going to steal and mismanage and I vote for them? And then somebody comes to tell me, oh, you are not. No. I made my decision to not vote for these people who are corrupt and don't do anything. You who did is culpable for what's going on right now. So you do not get to switch the way you want, that you make a bad decision, then you decide that people that didn't make that decision are culpable. No, you are culpable. And as you can see from this a senator in parliament who sits on these different committees, and the information is coming in front of them and they're seeing it. They're seeing, yeah, this money goes here, this is the person who owns this company. And a lot of this also have foreign, what do you call, alliances or foreign partners, whatever you want to call it, that actually make sure that these things are passed. So that in the end, it's just us paying for everything. It doesn't matter how much you pay to corrupt people. It will never be enough. You will continue to be impoverished until nothing remains. The problem is that you think these people care. Like they are too much. They don't care. Too much is not enough. So let's just continue with this, and I'll be dropping in, to give my opinion. But on this point, understand what he's trying to tell you. Our country right now is not ours. It's quite obvious. There are people right now, like there's a lot of information I'm getting, like there's a lot of mining going on in the country that none of us knows about, of very high quality, high demand minerals. And they're just certain people, like, anyway, tuendelee mbele.
They don't have to, you see all the money they're stealing. They don't want to open factories. They don't want to set up, they don't even want to set up schools, which they...
No, that's the thing. You see, as our thieves are the worst. Because they take money and they go buy flats in Dubai, America, UK, wherever. They go buy properties outside. They take all our money outside. Then you have to create more. Create more. Like Kenyans are very resilient. What?
But you also run, or hospitals for that matter. All that everybody is doing is picking out the money. Some of it you see being caught in Dubai. You've seen ministers being caught with $100 million in bags. And that is the sickness that has percolated in our system. And it is not just at the top. The top has just given the symbolism downwards. Live up there at the top where it is, come down to the National Assembly. Sometimes the judiciary is responsible, sometimes they play the same game. Roll it down to the county governments. Governors are doing exactly what the national government players are doing. Go down from the governor's office, run it down to the members of the county assembly. When you tell an MCA, gentlemen and ladies, you know our job is to oversight the county government. Please, you are not supposed to go and get money from the governor, because the money that is already in the budget is enough for you to oversight and try and help our people. Nobody will listen to you.
And that's the thing. You see these roles like MCAs, women rep, they're just roles that have been fixed, yes, okay, whatever. But how do these guys just come in and just become rich instantly? And then it's not that the people that they are supposed to govern like care or immediately like call it. A guy is building a mansion in your village. You know where the money is coming from, that he's stealing, but you just watch it. Because for me, my argument, he would make the argument for his side that the politicians need to do what they are doing or what they need to do, whatever. For me, I'm making an argument for the population, us, the citizens, who keep, basically, we keep on, we are the ones who support the system as it is. We are the ones who cannot do business honestly out here because, yeah, you see, saying, like, the leaders are saying, they're stealing and mismanaging, so we do it. I think it's the other way around. These leaders don't come from anywhere other than our population. So unless the culture is like that, which I believe it is strongly, and all the actions and results show that, it means that it's us who, these people represent us. This is who we are. no matter how much we want to pretend and whatnot, this is who we are. Ukipewa chance yourself to get into government, or even now we see how you get into jobs, you're at a shop and you immediately start planning or stealing immediately. Kwani nani tutadanganya hapa? Like, it's always the same thing. Like, you make a bad decision, alafu unaanza kulia na wewe uko hivyo. So what is happening really is people in the culture that we live in is a culture of corruption and mediocrity. Saizi mnasikia hata sijui class 8 watafanya, sijui class 9 sijui watafanya exams. There is no, everything that's meant to sieve out the doers from the not doers is being removed. The standards are being made lax and more lax. So we have so many damn people who think they know more than they do. Menda shule amfunzi basic things like geography, history, economics, vitu basic amufanyi. And those ones who are trying to do pia mnaiba my exam, it's dishonesty, mamwa Kenya. So you see, culturally, this is us. So you can't really say the politicians don't represent us, because they do, in every sense of the word. Yeah?
Because the purpose why we want to be senators, we want to be MPs, even want to be president, why we want to be in these positions lane, is simply because we believe government is the biggest employer, is the biggest business enterprise. That is where the 3.5 trillion is. And that is what everybody wants to take from there. And this is done.
And do you know why? It's because we don't have any manufacturing. Actually, like serious job creation, like large scale, everything that we've ever had that is large scale, big companies that can employ thousands of people is always watered down either through gava or the operations of people themselves. Watu unaanza biashara vizuri kidogo, unaanza madeal fake. Unaanza kutafuta madeal instead of trying to look for customers. You know,
by a number of less than 10,000 people in this country. That is where we are. So you
hao ndio wanaturingia ma social media na ma watch expensive, ni kama the own factories that they can give them that profit to buy those things. Watu wanavaa vitu, designer clothes of people making millions of dollars from various businesses. Lafu hapo ndio mnachekia hapa ma vlog na matumedia eti because you don't really, you're not creative, vitu za ujinga kama have you seen this MP's watch is $1 million, like, and it's not looked at like, oh, this msana tuibia. No, it's looked at his flossing. Hiyo flossing fake ya wash. Mnaona tujana tumejaa around, tunaendesha tu Benz, hata hatujui 1+1. Tumutu tunauza kichuri hapa nje, they are trying to, wanafanya wash kuficha hizi pesa za hawa wase drug dealer kila kitu. Alafu sasa bado mnataka kupretend eti ni hawa tu. Why don't we look where the majority of the people who are behaving this way is? Huh?
48 million or 50, whatever number we've reached. And yet you have a cabal of about 10 people, middle class and upper class individuals who deliberately...
By the way, when you're talking about these middle class people and those, how I say, especially when you're ma companies, ma Safaricom, ma banks, ma Nini, ma Airtel, kwanza, if you deal with those people, you've never dealt with people who are corrupt like that. In fact, kwa hizo ma job, a lot of these companies are performing below capacity because of these people they have in there. And easy, like from morning to evening, everything that's supposed to come to build the company, which basically would translate most of the time to more people coming in because the company grows, bigger salaries for people producing, whatever it is, maybe even shares, whatever call it. But wakisha ingia huko immediately is to cannibalize the company. Hii deal up, alafu the job doesn't work, afanyi job. Inakuwa eti, for example, a company is doing an event, they wanatoa 15 million. You'd find 3 million is spent or 4 million on the event. Hiyo ingine watu wanakula. So you find artists are paid like crap. You find other suppliers, food, tents, then you'd are paid like crap. And then at the end of that also, they're not paid on time, if they're paid at all. It might take months to years. Unakimbishwa na manager hivi washakula pesa yako. You see, that's not government. That's just people we operate with out here, companies. So this video really is, for me, is to basically try and place blame in the correct fashion. Tuache hii pretenda mingi tuko nayo. Eti ya kwamba ase ni wabaya, sisi ni wazuri tu, just being victims. No. Part and parcel of this is you.
The job is to siphon out, is to take out the money. You see in Europe, Lynn, what Muzungus do, doing business has never really told anybody, has never been an issue. It has never been something you can't do in government. Only that for us, we killed Chapter 6. Instead of leaving rules which then would control our behavior in relation to what we do with this government, we loosened out Chapter 6. You saw the other day there was a bill which was supposed to be passed on, I forget what we were calling it. Government should allow, even if you did business within government, there would be no conflict of interest law. We were trying to change that. And why are people trying to bring it to the floor of the House? Because they don't want, after he has stolen 100, 200 billion in a year, as I put a stop there and I've remembered, look at the people who are applying to get jobs in government. Some of them who are ministers, some of them who have been in government. Every individual, the amount of money that is paid 2 years ago when they were being cross-examined, when they were being interviewed, how does somebody make 100 million in a year? And he has no factory, he has no industry. He has no
exactly.
And he
How?
actually openly declares it. What magic is that? I mean, some of the money that is...
It's because they understand nothing will happen. The population won't hold them accountable. The judiciary won't hold them accountable. Their colleagues there who they are stealing with won't hold them accountable. So that's why somebody can come on and just say, this is only 900,000 shillings. Like, he's lost all element of, shame. He knows that atafanya watu kwanza kwa kigia social media Then you look at there, you'd think like you'd see unanimous condemnation, but no. There's people there telling you, stop being bitter, or you're being envy. Like, at what point do your mind lie to you that this person who's stolen, that's the right person you should be defending? Like, what happens to your mind? You're just one of those people just waiting. So maybe unaweza pata. Maybe unaweza mdefend huyu aone comment zangu kwa hizo zote 5,000. Anipika nipe 1 million. Mbwa nyenye.
Individuals are displaying in terms of their net worth and everything. You would think we are dealing with Safaricom. And yet, even Safaricom...
Some of them own shares in Safaricom.
24 million or 16 million shillings to go and give in a church.
Na hapo ndio mmependa kwa chache. Mnaanza kuklap, God is great. Mnaletewa pesa ya uwizi. Maybe imetolewa kwa hospital, watu wanakufa huko, hakuna madawa. Hizo ndio mna celebrate, mnaweza kutuambia eti God ordained. So fucking fake. Like, mnafikiria mnaweza kudelegate maujinga zenu huko nje, mnafikiria solution ziko. Hakuna solution na hiyo fakeness. Hizi vitu si eti ni mpya, ni vile sasa watu wameanza kuzisema more and more because it's getting out of hand and it's about to go all to shit, all of it. Hii pesa yenu mnasema hapa sasa itapoteza value to like that because your leaders are fucking puppets of America and other countries, na China na nani. Yani wanaongwa tu kidogo wanauza. Watu wana mine vitu dunia yetu mzima hapa hivi juu watu wamepewa do. Na nyinyi mnawapigia na mnajua. In fact, I was wondering, these places we are hearing guys mining. Ni wasewa hiyo maeria wawajua. Mbona hamjatuambia hizi vitu hatuoni hata mavideo? We are seeing nudes. People wanatupigia mpaka mavideo wanapigana sekete. Lakini vitu muhimu kama who's mining gold in Western hatujui. Mtu who's mining sijui what rare earth mineral in coast hatujui. Mafuta hatujui. Lakini manudes ndio mnaweza tuwekea hapa na watu warefu. Hata hamna ujinga, hata hamna adabu. First of all, these vlogs and to blog, mimi hata kwa sahi na fireball tu zote. Nimeanza engagement with them, no, because hii ni ujinga. There's a lot of stupidity just floating around.
Oh. Do you see the frustration and the disappointment I have? I'm like, what has made Kenyans, particularly the ruling elite, to become the way they have? Then the other issue that I want...
It's because people are earning, they have a life they can never earn by themselves.
Look at our culture. from independence. Takes 10 years, Mzee Kenyatta gets out. There was still a disagreement between him and Jaramogi. All right. At that time, I am willing to be sympathetic and understand there were those ideological issues between the East and the West. Come down.
Hizo ziko lakini those don't matter on theft here locally.
And the other vice presidents who are there. Then you come to the.
Murumbi got sick.
Yes. Then Murumbi got sick, and then Murumbi got out, and then Moi comes in, and then what does Moi do? Moi brings in his teams, but apparently, even with the Moi case, you still had disagreement between whoever that was his vice president. Look at Moi's behavior with Saitoti, look at Moi's behavior with Kibaki, look at Moi's behavior with Dr. Njoroge. You look at all these cases and you notice there was always a breakdown every 2 to 3 years. Actually, it was about when we were in the middle of our term, of the 5-year period.
Actually, it's 2 years.
It's 2 years.
It's happening now.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Then you leave Moi, then you have Kibaki coming in. During President Kibaki's term, at least Kalonzo managed himself quite well. And I think Kibaki handled him better. All right. And I believe it's because they had a relationship between both of them before that. But guess what? Once you had the coalition government, remember it was during Kibaki's time, the war between Kibaki and Raila started. Then you come
It's the
into
greed.
elections which were Uhuru.
Hii ni zangu, ministry zangu. Why are they fighting for ministries?
Then after that, Williams brought in this narrative that he's been closed out, he is not getting his opportunities, people from his area not getting jobs and everything. Then you now fast forward.
Right now, every office you go imejaa wakale.
And come to
Everybody is talking out of both sides of their mouth.
And the same narrative is that you can see the trend. And my analysis is very simple. The disagreement, other than the first case during independence period of
I'll include that phase also.
Issues of how do you distribute the natural
I
resources,
include
what are you
it.
gonna do with
Sikia
the
vile
land
Kenyatta
question,
alikuwa na assign
how
watu
you gonna
maploti na
handle
vile alikuwa
people
anajikatia.
displaced
I include it all.
their
There's
lands,
there's no one being left out.
That
If we are going to address something,
the
we
rest
address it in full.
disagreement have been about public resources sharing.
That was from the
That is why
beginning.
I
That was it.
Shocked when I had my friend, who I really respect quite a bit, Gachagua, saying that this is actually a company, and we are shareholders, and there are 2 shareholders. And
So
the share was
you people are the
UDA
workers, I guess.
and the people who the president was representing, and Gachagua believed you also had a share for Central, and that narrative jolted me, because then it told me this is the dysfunctionality of our country. So first, you look at the infrastructure of the politics.
No, people became
But my
more.
argument is-
Look, many people of these politicians just became more brazen. They realized nothing can happen to me. Najua watu wakienda mpaka majuu wana corrupt mpaka majuu yote, they can pay. They just know, nitaongea na US hivi, nitaongea na China hivi. Once they know that and hakuna kitu ina happen, my kids will still have the millions, I will still have the billions, my wife, everybody. Like nothing will happen. Saizi, like Saitoti was killed the other time, then what happened? Hatunajua mali yake elienda. Hiyo mali kurudi kwa pali yenye aliiba all those time, a golden bag nini, haikurudi pali. The families just keep enjoying this money. So a lot of this is hot air, like a lot of, for me, until the point comes where watu wote, which I know by the way it won't, because there's no goodwill for the citizens to see that happen. Say all that money they've stolen kurudi, hiyo ndio nasema it won't happen, because nobody has the goodwill to do it. No. And also the thing is the kind of anarchy that will cause, because so many people, families and what have been touched by corruption. The government is the biggest employer, and most of those people are corrupt. So hata watoi wao na nini wamewaingisha majob nini. So the corruption cartel is so big that right now most of the powerful people, I'd argue 90% of them they've earned their money legitimately. So hakuna kitu una fight say, unless the citizens are the only people, we are the numbers that can do it. But it's not going to happen, because kila mtu anataka kuonja. Tangoja tu niongeleshe vizuri anipeka kitu. That's the problem right here.
is it is more important for us to start looking at the software for our politics and the software how we manage public resources. Those two are linked. It is the politics that has broken down the system that we have in our republic.
Na unajua, inclusive of the government thieves ni ama corporate thieves. So basically everybody that has anything in this country, majority ya kupata hiyo kitu fair. So hapo ndio tuko. As in, that is really the bottom line here. He can speak about the government and what not. I can tell you about corporate. Hapa nje, many of you have experienced this. So to this, let's don't behave like I'm saying strange things here. Doing business out here is hell. It's hell. And for the many people still who want to do biashara, we've had to change our ways. We never do a job without money. Deposit ilipe mzito, because the moment you do that, you'll spend your savings to do a job or capital from your little capital you have for your company, and then that person you deliver the job to will probably stay 6-8 months without paying you. They'll give you hell. Your interests will be going up wherever if you borrowed money. Your things will start to be repossessed, all because this corporate goon doesn't want to pay you. Maybe ulipata job ilikuwa ni best yake apate, so they are making it difficult. Sometimes they'll just do some shady things, cancel your contract, give their friends. That has happened to me. Kwa hizi ma TV station mnaona hapa. So hii kitu, it is about a total cultural collapse. No morals. Kila mtu, by the way, ukiingia social media every day, there are a lot of people making a lot of moral arguments, where you just look a one layer under, and unapata huyu msee aishi anything that they speak. Ni mwizi tu kama wengine. Probably, na tumepata hawa watu wengi wanaanza, crypto. Kwanza nyinyi watu wa crypto nyinyi mbwa sana, by the way. I've never known anyway, there are bigger bunches of con artists like you. You should be here. Inakumbuka GNLD hizi zote. All these are cons. But then if you know someone that does that till today, or used to do it na hajai na akachukua pesa yako na hajai rudisha, or hajai apologize, jua hawa ndio nawaambia, hawa ndio wamejaa kila pahali. So mtu kama huyu amefanya crypto, amefakwa se, mtu amefanya corporate, amemeswa se, utampata amemenya kupahali gava ama kwa kampuni nyingine. Like you always, it's always a weird thing, because these people seem to be failing upwards, because the system is set that way. Ule mse tunajua tunaweza kula na yeye ndiye atakuwa spot, si mse wa kugrow vitu ndio keki kwe kubwa zaidi so that people can eat for longer. Ni wasai sisi, us only. And that's why mimi, after spending 20 years with these people, that's why I don't give a damn, because I know just how incompetent they are. I know just how hateful they are. I know just how petty they are. Na hakuna siku atakusaidia or be fair and just let you fight out things fairly. They'll work extra time to make sure you don't get anything. This is the culture that is there. Your bad mind. Watu wanaiba, watu wanauza drugs, watu wanafanya vitu za ufala, social media, wale watu wanaonesha watu makuma hapa nje, hao ndio watu popular. The degenerates are popular making money, and you guys are clapping along. Why? The culture is corrupt. Nyinyi ni corrupt nyote.
By the system is dysfunctional, where the most vulnerable are left on their own. When you don't find medicines in a dispensary, you actually end up blaming yourself. And
you should, because you're the one who keeps voting for these people, the vulnerable. Nyinyi ndio, you should always blame yourself for a decision you made. Kama umevotia mtu na ulijua alikuwa mwizi, ujui alipata wealth yake aje, amewadanganya mara ngapi na bado kampigia, this time. Here, it's the fault is on you. Let's not try and, as a politician, he must politic. But mimi, I don't care. Mimi nasema ukweli. Hii decision ni ya citizens. Nyinyi ndio mmekubali mambo ifike hapa. Juu mpia nyinyi mnataka kuwa involved na wengi wenu mmekuwa involved.
If you look at the amount of money we are spending and budgeting it is shocking. So these are the things that have jolted me, and I reached a personal level and I said, by the way, what am I doing in the Senate if I cannot discuss these things? After all, the job
this is bare minimum. What he's talking about is what the bare minimum should be for any leader or wannabe leader.
that you are dealing with, where your oversight.
Somebody must do
Now,
these
where
bare minimums
oversight
before you
is
even consider them
accountable.
for a vote.
And these are the things
Even on
I
a
have
smaller
seen.
scale, not
And
just hapa
that is
kwa
why
gava.
I've always mentioned this lately.
Mnapigiaje wase hata mjui wametoka wapi bana? Wanatokea tu pali yoyote mnapiga kura juu wamekaa mna range. Like wase bana. You see, for as far as I'm concerned, the culture, actually this thing is not just here, it's worldwide. Hata ukiona America, hii culture ya uongo na corruption, watu wanawaibia, wanaiba alafu wanawaambia racism, tribalism, nini. Hiyo ni kudeflect, yani kudistract from the fact that they are taking everything. And they are not delivering on their promises. Even the basics they are not. So mnaanza kuambia racism nini. Mnapigana kama mafala. Huko majuu kwanza ukisikia vile watu wanaargue, inakuanga ni kama hawa kwanza waligishwa ile poison strong. Na nyinyi mnafuata tu. Just zombies just walking around following. Sio nani ilisema mbwa. Hii ndio kwa sababu you never change, because hamtaki kusikianga. Mnaambiwa, by the way, when you're listening to these news people, let me just take a segment on these news people. If you're going to be listening to CNN, our foreign media, BBC, Reuters, whatever, our NTV, KTN, all those people are lying to you. In fact, our locals are like surrogates of those foreign media. So kitu nataka huko wa push worldwide, juu unajua vitu kama hawa watu wote, game yao ni worldwide. Msidanganywe. Hapa hivi locally we are run by them. Kiona Ruto akienda huko akikalishwa kwa kiti hapo White House na Biden hapa amesimama, na mlijua hiyo time Biden hata ajui kitu anafanya hapo. They made him stand next to a zombie because watu wenyewe hizo madili washapiga huko nyuma. They know we are going to get this big deal contract here. So we Ruto shika zako, ama unaweza ongeza hii hivi tutuletee bana tukatane hii keki. Wanapiga tu deal hapo juu. Alafu next thing naona kifala kikuja ati unajua huyu Donald Trump. Unajua nini juu Donald Trump boss? Haujui. Everything you are saying out of your mouth has been put there by these media houses. Hamjui kitu, lakini arrogance yenu hawezi ambiwa. Kwanza nimecheki wase wengi kwanza diaspora mko down. Mko down. Kwanza hizi siasa zenu mnajaribu kupush. Mko down deadly. There's no time. Lies and deceit will never build anything. Few people eat. Few people will take power. When the truth and how facts should be, be spread around, so that when you have the right information, your likelihood of making a wrong decision is lesser. I'm not saying you won't, but that's why we look for the right information. So nyinyi wasee huko diaspora mkitudanganya hapa, alafu mkipatikana mnadanganya, mnaanza kuwa tu kama woke, mnaita watu calling people names. You're so stupid, but you're calling people names. You don't know anything. You live in America and you don't know anything. You America hapo mnaishi. Ama mnadanganya tu, mnapenda kudanganya watu. So all of you are spreading your corruption around the world. Mmechukua corruption ya huko mmeanza kutuletea hapa hizi ma LGBTQ zenu na maujinga zenu, sijui women rights, pretending that Africans never knew how to treat women. Eti ni hizi ma feminist hizi maujinga za majuu ndio zinajua kutuambia vile tunafaa kutreat watu. You have been demoted to a lesser human na unafuata ukiclap. Wanaleta ma-NGO hapa hivi zimejaa ma CIA na ma FBI. Mnajifanya the Gen Z protest is their product. Whether you like it or not, me I don't care. I'm just telling you the truth. These protests are not organic. They are planned and funded by people who are more powerful than our government. Yes, that's how it's done. Wacheni kujidanganya hapa wase.
Most people I meet who are on the other side pick it up. And sometimes they tell me, so why are you fighting our government and everything? And I tell them, I'm not fighting the government. I just want you to see what some of us are saying. If what we are saying is not true, come and say so. Like yesterday, I had one of my colleagues from PC community was in a radio station and he said, Onyonka is just lying about the airport. So I asked them, Why are these guys demonstrating at the airport?
Actually, there's a go-slow right
Yes,
now.
if
in
the story is
airport.
not true, why is it not possible for the government to say, listen, you don't have to give a press conference to the Kenyan public. Come to the Senate and call members of parliament in the transport committee.
Yani this guy yeye amefika pahali hata these other politicians wanafanyanga vitu now, he's cut them all out. He's just eating by himself and these guys. Imefika hata nasikia maseneta hata mshahara imeanza kuwa issue, they are not being paid. Like I want you guys to understand how big the blunder you made. And I'm directing you sasa nyinyi Gen Z na ikelele yenu. Hii shida mulieza sabet zaidi mkaeka the worst one. And it's not all blame on you. I know your dumbass parents also didn't teach you anything. And they also actually voted for this guy. But yours was the vote, nyinyi ndio wengi. Yours was the vote that tilted the other way. Tilted everything the other way. Mkampea legitimacy vizuri. Huwezi pea mtu legitimacy alafu a few months later mgeuzi. Atakataa. Avila anakataa sahi anawadunga tu PR. Unacheki? So anyway, let's see how much more is there.
Tell us what the agreement is.
I'm not reacting to the whole video.
We
So
have got another a comparative discussion on what other countries have done. Look at what Rwanda has done. They went and got money from the Qataris.
Yes.
They have been given $2 billion to build a brand new airport. On top of that, because Kagame wants to make sure that Rwanda Air becomes a regional airline, which is strong and which has got enough lines and trips and everything. I told you I have a brother who's a pilot and he's been educating me on these things. And the Qataris gave Rwanda 40 aeroplanes
Aye.
on top of
I
the
know.
$2 billion.
Kwanza,
first of all, this hiyo kitu ya ma railways, forget the Rwanda thing. Nikataka hii reli yetu. We paid I think 2, 3, 4 times more, 5 times more for an old plane and a lesser, shorter railway than TZ did for electric trains for longer rails. Like hizo pesa ziko area hapa, nyingi zingine ziko majuu. Wengi wenu mnaboli hizo pesa, mnajificha tu hapa kujifanya ma-influencer na hamna talent. You can't even talk. You just take photos of you next to a car you bought with a stolen money, with some stupid ass bitch who everybody has heard, because by the way huku andos watu hujui kupick class, una pick poko, kila mtu unaweka social media. Tunawaona nyinyi
And this is a debt which they have stretched to a period of 35 years. The question I'm asking anybody,
yeah, like who does
how can
like
you
a deal
disagree
simple
with a
like
deal
that?
like that?